Friday Night Stars, presented by Whataburger. When tangy Southern-style sauce and slaw meet a bacon cheese Whataburger, you get the Southern Bacon Double Burger. 2 patties, bacon, cheese, pickles, onions, and slaw on a 5-inch bun. Back for a limited time at participating locations.
It is week number 5 of this high school football season, and welcome to Friday Night Stars. Bill Jones along with Kyle Yeomans here at the beautiful Star in Frisco as we are here for another season of Friday Night Stars. You know, it's like we've gotten past the preseason. We're now into district play for most every team in North Texas, and it's great to be able to talk high school football with the guru of high school football here at the Star in Frisco, Kyle Yeoman.
I don't know if I'll take that much, take it that far, but I am excited. I'm excited to be back around these student athletes and around these programs. I mean, over the years that we've done this, what is this, year 4 of us doing this show together? So I don't even know what year it is for you doing this show, but I think for the
40,
most part,
you're 40.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, Bill Jones, 40, there he goes. But I think for the most part, we've gotten the connections, we've gotten to know these coaching staffs, a lot of the players that have come up through the ranks as well. This is going to be a high school football season unlike any other. So the fact that we get to start halfway through it and kind of take this thing all the way up to the end, it's going to be a blast.
Yes, it will be, and of course brought to you by Whataburger, and each week we start off with our Whataburger Game of the Week. And how about a rivalry game to kick things off this week? 23rd ranked Rockwall Yellow Jackets 3-1 on the season, taking on their rivals, the Heath Hawks, also 3-1 on the season. Friday night at Wilkerson Sanders Memorial Stadium. It's a District 10 6A clash, and it should be a good one.
No doubt about it. The I-30 Classic has become a staple in high school football. I'll start on the Rockwall Yellow Jackets side of things. Of course, area finalist last year. Coach Brooks has really built some good things in that Rockwall program. Wins over Cedar Hill here at the Star in the Jerry Jones Classic in week 1. Then you take down Prosper. You take down South Grand Prairie. They won this game last year 56-21 after, of course, 2 years ago. This was a 79-71 double overtime thriller in 2021. They relied on Lake Bennett in both of those games. Bennett last year had 7 total touchdowns. Of course, he's graduated, moved on. It's up to Mitchell at quarterback to really set the tone. They've won 4 of the last 5 over Heath. That one win coming in that double overtime game for Rockwall Heath. They're coming off a win against Waco Midway, which I, of course, as a Waco Midway grad, don't really want to talk about too much. But they did look good last week down in Central Texas. And guess who's the head coach of Rockwall Heath?
Yeah, that would be Rodney Webb.
The one that, of course, built what Trey Brooks is doing in Rockwall. So they go and they hire the former Yellow Jackets head coach. That's a predecessor, of course, to Coach Brooks on the Rockwall side of things. This is going to be not only an electric matchup on the field, but talk about the sidelines, too, and having that 1-2 punch from a coaching staff standpoint. I really enjoy talking to both of those coaches. You know that they're still friends to this day. It'll be interesting to see.
Of course, Rodney Webb left Rockwall, went to Denton Geyer. He was the head coach there, and then he was the athletic director at Highland Park last year. Comes out from that position to become once again the head coach at Heath. And I also love, okay, we had 2 Landry Award finalists. A Landry Award winner in Josh Hoover is now at TCU, and Braden Locke, the quarterback from Rockwall, who started his college career at Mississippi State, now at Wisconsin. And there is another Locke and another Hoover on the respective teams for this game. How about this, though? Leading up to the game, it was Trey Brooks, the head coach of Rockwall. It was his birthday this week. And so the Rockwall cheerleaders sent a little shout out on social media to him.
We have the best cheer team, the best drill team, the best band, and overall the best student section in Texas. I need everyone to pack the stands, be loud, and support our boys. Looking at the future state champs right here. Jack and Fight never dies! State champs on 3! 1, 2, 3, state champs!
Happy birthday, Trey Brooks, and it was the cheerleaders doing impersonations of the Rockwall head coach. Do you think he approves of that?
I don't know. I liked it. I think it was worth it. It was A for effort, no doubt about it. You got to get creative, right?
Yeah, I love it. All right, big game matchup number 2. How about the DeSoto Eagles heading to Waxahachie Lumpkin Stadium, taking on an unbeaten Waxahachie team. DeSoto at 3-0 on the season. Of course, defending state champions from a year ago, and they're off to a similar start to this year.
Yeah, they've been dismantling really good opponents along the way. District 11 6A, of course, in the Lone Star State, known as the District of Death, and it was a bit quiet in the first couple weeks. Now it's starting to get wild, and I think this is really the start of that. 2 undefeated teams, starting with DeSoto, who's still, of course, ranked inside that top 3, defeating Allen 39-7. South Oak Cliff, another reigning state champion, 54-14, and then they took down Skyline last week. I thought Skyline actually put up a decent battle against DeSoto, but they fell in that one 42-17. This is the biggest test so far for the Eagles, and do you expect them to pass the test? At this point, you can't really expect them not to. They've continuously played good football over these last couple years, but this is a Waxahachie bunch that's already faced some adversity. I mean, the Indians, for the most part, have won some tough games. They've been getting behind their quarterback, Raymond McKinney Jr., who tops the team in both passing yardage and rushing yardage. It'll be up to the defense and the pressure with Jeremy Jackson Jr. coming off the edge for this Waxahachie bunch. He's an edge rusher committed to Texas State. If he can get some pressure on DeSoto in the backfield, they could possibly force him into turnovers early. That's how you take advantage of the Eagles.
And Cedar Hill coming off a win over Cedar Hill last week, 39-21. Darius Bailey, the quarterback for DeSoto, Sam Houston State commit, and they've got the number 1 2027 wide receiver recruit in the nation in Ethan Booby Feaster, 6'1", 171 pounds. It would be worth the price of admission just to go watch him play.
Oh, yeah. If he's a number 1 recruit in the country and he's been showing out like it so far, I would pay the price of admission.
All right, a big game matchup number 3. How about let's go to Stanridge Stadium in Carrollton, where how about the Newman Smith Trojans off to a 3-0 start this season, but they are hosting one of the best teams in the state. That would be the Mansfield Timberview Wolves, who are at 4-0 coming into this District 5-5A Division I matchup.
Yeah, this is a battle of early undefeateds that I don't know many thought would be a battle of undefeateds because Newman Smith has come out of nowhere. I'll start with Mansfield, though. Timberview has always been in the mix. They're 4-0 again. They've outscored their opponents to this point, 178-28. You have their quarterback, wide receiver, 3-star Boise State commit, Cameron Bates. He plays both positions. Yes, I know that's kind of odd. I think he's committed to Boise State as a quarterback, but he's been putting up numbers as a receiver. 20 receptions, 390 yards, 5 touchdowns. They have Humes at quarterback whenever Cameron Bates is out at wide receiver. Been playing really well, too. 758 yards through the air, 10 touchdowns, just 1 interception. But Newman Smith, this is not your granddad's Newman Smith. How about this? Wins versus Denton, Creekview, Birdville, they've been taking their talent. They've been taking it on the board. 3-star defensive back recruit, commit to SMU, Jalen Moses has been fantastic, but still not as good as Chris Hughes has been running the football. 49 attempts, nearly 400 yards, 6 touchdowns in their first 3 games. This is a Newman Smith squad that's going to put up a fight against Timberview.
And that was a big win last week over Birdville, 35-30. Big matchup, big game matchup number 4. How about the Anna Coyotes and All Saints Episcopal from Fort Worth, which always produces a lot of good talent.
Oh, and they did again this year, no doubt about it. I mean, the class of 23 is strong. I guess that's technically the class of 24, but 2 teams going in different directions after results last week. Anna, a 2-overtime loss to Salina. 2 really solid wins to start the campaign, but don't let last week fool you. This team was number 2 in the rankings for a reason. They dropped to number 5 after falling to number 5 last week, and they still hold those title hopes this year. DeAndre Williams at quarterback, 780 yards, 10 touchdowns already this season. He's been fantastic. Then for Fort Worth All Saints, you have to think this could be one of the years where they could have some state title hopes. Parrish is a little bit down. They've already lost a couple non-district games. Can Fort Worth All Saints continue to press the issue? 613 total yards last week. 466 of those were on the ground, with Reed Watkins of the Brock transfer putting up some big numbers. So I'm excited to see this matchup because I think Anna coming off a big loss like you see there against Salina last week. They're going to be tested. They're going to be hungry to go get a win. But Fort Worth All Saints has the talent to make this a tight one.
What I look forward to on down the road this season when All Saints goes up against Jason Witten's Liberty Christian team. All right, that's just a tease for what's coming up later in the season. But later in the show, we make our weekly trip to Frisco. We're checking in on those Reedy Lions when we come back in just a moment.
This segment was brought to you by Whataburger. What's better than Whataburger? How about more Whataburger? Download the Whataburger app and start earning points toward free food with Whataburger Rewards.
It's almost time for the showdowns at the Star. As usual, a Thursday night game and a Friday night game here at the Star in Frisco. Moments away from kickoff. Kyle Yeomans will be on the call. The District 6-5A matchup between the Reedy Lions and the Liberty Redhawks. And then how about the matchup on Friday night when it's Jeff Rayburn's Lone Star Rangers taking on the Wakeland Wolverines, and Kyle will be on the call for that game too. So a busy Thursday and Friday night. Welcome back to Friday Night Stars. And Kyle Yeomans, that Friday night matchup, Lone Star and Wakeland, figures to be a really good one.
Oh, of course. And it's, of course, the battle for Whataburger. They fight over the Whataburger that's up on El Dorado here in Frisco. So it's always a fun rivalry matchup, but it has a chance to create chaos in that district again, because last year there was a four-way tie for the final three playoff spots that left Frisco out of the mix. Lone Star has already beaten Reedy. Reedy has already beaten Wakeland. So if Wakeland beats Lone Star, then you've got that trio of chaos again, the triangle that's going to keep things rolling here in Frisco. Wakeland's coming off of that loss last week against Reedy, whereas Lone Star looks like a completely different team since they lost their opener against Texas High out of Texarkana to start the season. Jeff Rayburn's bunch is really good. Watch out for Reedy to take control in this one.
All right, speaking of Reedy, they were 12-1 last year, regional semifinalists. What kind of team does Chad Cole have this year? Well, let's hear about him.
This is a must-win for us to continue the season that we want. So, no choice about it.
I mean, we're doing great. I feel like right now there's still a lot more that we can do because, you don't want to set the bar too low, This team's blessed, honestly. Last year we were undefeated, but I feel like the people that stayed on this team from last year, they kind of can lead the ropes and show what we need to do to get where we were last year, and be better than last year, because you don't want to set the same standard as last year. You don't want to be average or the same.
Had a lot of good players that got the blessing to go play college football, and you just have to reload as much as you can. And had some young guys that maybe were on a different side of the ball and had an opportunity to move around and play the position that they wanted, but returned a few players that had gotten experience last year, and those guys have just rolled up their sleeves and accepted the role that they have been given, which is to go carry the team now.
I feel like our chemistry is really high. We're all brotherly love out here. I feel like we got a solid offense, big defense, good high-scoring team.
Guys like Connor McGrath, a running back in Tristan Airy, that's a junior that has done really good for us. We have the running back that we moved over from corner in Devin Hardy, sustained a season-ending injury, and devastating, but it gives somebody else an opportunity, and Tristan took advantage of that opportunity, and he's doing a really good job for us.
Reedy blessed with talent, and all these Frisco ISD athletes blessed to be able to play at the Star in Frisco too.
No doubt about it, and I'm happy to be able to I'll take the sacrifice. I'll stay up there in the AC for Thursday and Friday nights to call some really good football in a phenomenal venue.
All right, when we come back, how about that program out west? There was a transition going on out there, the Aledo Bearcats, and we talk about that when Friday Night Stars continues in a moment.
This segment is brought to you by Whataburger. If you're a Whataburger shake fan, I have two words for you: banana pudding. That's right, the Whataburger Banana Pudding Shake is back on the menu, but only for a limited time.
Just personally, to look back and say, we've won 11 state championships, and it's unbelievable. And I keep wanting to, pinch myself to make sure it's real. But it's been great, and that's the reason it's easier to retire. It's my 40th year, 30th year in Aledo, 25 as a head coach, and you know, we just won our 11th state championship, and I thought, you know, what better time to do it and have a great assistant coach, Robbie Jones, who's ready to be a head coach. So, and we got a great group coming back. So, what better time to do it?
Wow, that was the big announcement at the end of last season. Aledo's legendary head coach Tim Buchanan, Coach Buck, retiring after their 8th state title, and what a legacy he leaves there.
I mean, they call it Titletown USA for a reason, and he's a huge part of that. 10 championships in 14 years, and he mentioned it in that footage. He had an assistant coach in Robbie Jones that was ready to take over and be the head coach. Boy, was he ready, because they look good again here in 23.
All right, let's hear from Jet Beecham. He has more on the 2023 Aledo Bearcats.
After leading Aledo to its UIL record 11 state championship last season, legendary head coach Tim Buchanan called it a career. Stepping into his shoes, offensive coordinator Robbie Jones.
Same expectation, same standard. You know, we expect to go out and compete and win every football game.
From calling the plays to calling the shots, Jones is no stranger to pressure. He led the Bearcats offense during 10 of those championship runs.
I think consistency in the program is a big key to what our success and sustained success has been. We haven't changed the model. We haven't changed our offense. We haven't changed our defense.
Talent in Titletown has also been consistent. 12 starters return on a roster loaded with Division I recruits, including TCU quarterback commit Haas Haney and LSU linebacker commit Devon Keys.
We got a lot of experience, and we know what it takes to have success on Friday night. So, we're going to continue to get better throughout the season.
We're working for each other and not working for a state championship. We're working to get better as a team and go beat everyone's butt.
Once again, Aledo begins the year as the top-ranked team in 5A Division I.
We're working towards the same goal, like you said, like we were last year. And, it's just trying to keep our egos in check and not think that, we're just going to walk out on the field and handle business.
Business, which would be an 11th state title for Jones, but his first as a head coach.
We expect to go out and put a good product on the field and win every football game.
And they've maintained that top ranking starting the season with big wins over Parish Episcopal and Denton Guyer.
Yeah, and one thing they haven't done is go undefeated at the 5A Division I level, and they have a chance to do that. They've already avenged their 2 losses from last year. They lost to Denton Guyer, Parish Episcopal. They've turned around, and they have won both of those games already this season. To start undefeated, I think running the table is certainly on the table for Robbie Jones.
All right, and so it'd be fun to watch Aledo the rest of this season. They are certainly one of the power programs in the state of Texas. And up next, it's our first power programs of this season when we come back on Friday Night Stars, presented by Whataburger.
Friday Night Stars, presented by Whataburger. The buttery, flaky Whataburger jalapeno cheddar biscuit that you know and love is back. If you don't know it, well, it's here. For a limited time only at participating locations, served 11 p.m. to 11 a.m.
Friday Night Stars is back, which means our power programs are back as well. I'll start things off with Lake Highlands. They're going to take control of District 7 6A this week against Richardson. Berkner wins over stout programs like Highland Park and Jesuit in back-to-back weeks. North Dallas is afraid of the Wildcats. That's because Deontay Dean is a dude. 110 carries already, nearly hitting that 1,000-yard mark. He has 10 touchdowns. He had a $165 on the ground and 2 touchdowns last week against the Jesuit Rangers. Lake Highlands won this game 42-7 last year. I expect a more lopsided score tonight, Bill.
All right, and I'll go with the power program in South Lake. The Carroll Dragons off to a 4-0 start. They'll have no problem this week against the Haltom Buffaloes, but they are led by quarterback Graham Knowles, who's committed to Georgia Tech, wide receiver Jacob Jordan, who is committed to the University of Oklahoma. And on down the road, they've got looming matchups against unbeaten Keller and unbeaten Byron Nelson that we'll be talking about in future weeks here.
And it's really other notable games here, too, that can also change things up. You got Cedar Hill, Duncanville. I like the Crowley and LD Bell up at the top, too.
All right, we'll see you again next week here on Friday Night Stars.